What I understood, I'm going to give a little bit of my testimony, a little bit of a story about my calling, and then I have a little card here that what we believe at Walker, and I'll talk a little bit about that with you, and try to keep it moving here. When I was about 10 years old, my dad, being a farmer in Kansas, he got the idea to start manufacturing products, and he was interested. Not a friend of his who was a salesman said, "If you'll make a gasoline-powered golf car, I'll sell them for you." My dad didn't really ever play golf, never really cared about golf, but he took that as a challenge and began to make the golf cars right out there on the family farm. A few years later, my dad didn't have any training in business, none in engineering, and none in manufacturing. He basically was self-taught, but he was a Christian man, and I grew up in a Christian home, so I knew about these things, about the Bible. But there was another person that comes into the story, Mr. R.G. Letourneau, and if he's of another time, so some of the younger people may not know Letourneau, but he was a man who, back in the early 1900s, began to build big earth-moving or earth scrapers as a product. And along the way, he came into a relationship with Jesus, and he, as he liked to say, God became my senior partner in business. And anyway, he would go around the country on Sunday afternoons. He had a A-26, a bomber, a converted bomber that he flew to places like Kansas, where I came from. So one Sunday afternoon, he flew into Ashland, Kansas, a little farming community. I heard him give his testimony, and during that time of his story, he just said, "I'm a mechanic that the Lord has blessed," and then explained how some of the stories, how the Lord had helped him build his business. And I felt, and I am 12, 13 years old, I felt the Lord speak to me. And it wasn't an audible voice, but it was still a voice that said, "This is for you." And from that moment on, I began to try to pursue being a Christian businessman. And even to the point that, in your yearbooks for high school, when you graduate, they gave you a little place to put what you wanted to be, what you wanted to, and I wrote in my yearbook, Christian businessman. And so I felt like I received a call, as much as anybody's ever received any call, to any kind of ministry or any kind of work. I received a call to be a Christian businessman. And I like to tell people that because I think when I grew up anyway, there wasn't much talk like that. Mostly people that had callings were full-time ministry people, preachers, missionaries, but business people didn't get a call. I believe that it still happens today, that men and women receive a call of different kinds, but it can be a call to business as much as any other type of vocation. And when it's followed and carried out, as we've been hearing today, the Lord is able to use people in whatever calling they've been called into in His ways. I have this little thing. I put some on every table, so if you can find one for yourself, you're welcome to keep this too, to take it with you. Is there anybody I've got some extras on a table that I was sitting at, and if you don't find one and would like to have one, if you want to hold up your hand, I'll make sure with this. I've got my friend here that will. I don't see any hands going up, so it looks like we're all covered. But anyway, this statement, what we believe at Walker, is something that we have printed, and we actually hand it out to our employees as they come into the company. We also have it posted around our factory and in our offices. We have large versions of this hanging on the wall. We also have it on the internet, so people can see it at our website. I like to tell people that this "what we believe" statement was not created where we sat down years ago and said, oh, okay, let's write down what we believe. This was actually created after the fact. We lived all of this before we ever wrote it down. And so it's a distillation of 50-some years of being in business and trying to operate in a good way, in a way that would honor the Lord. I don't have time to go through all of these, but I wanted to tell you about some of the practical ways that this is lived out. I mean, you can write it down, as we've been saying, but the actions are the thing, what the outcome of it is what's important. I also want to say to you, these are our beliefs for our particular situation as the Lord has worked with us. It's not meant to be a universal, this is for everybody. In fact, we tell our employees when they come into the company, you may not agree with all of these statements, but at least you know where we're coming from as owners of the company. And we're not trying to impose our beliefs on everybody with uniformity. So the first one here, and you see it's an acrostic, opportunity abounds. And so the first O, operate by principles that are optimum for employees and their families. How is this applied? Well, in our business, we by building lawnmowers, it's a very seasonal product. And most businesses have seasons to them, but we have a very definite season. As you can imagine, lawnmowers are not used or sold too much in the wintertime and in climates like that. So we don't have demand year-round. But what we've done is organized ourselves for what we call level manufacturing. That means that every day at our factory, we make the same number of lawnmowers that we make on a year-round basis. We normally sit down about in September and calculate how many machines we think we need to build in the next 12 months. And then we divide that into the working days per that year, and that predicts our daily production rate. So we're making lawnmowers at Christmas time as fast as we are in March or April, right around our peak season. Why is that important? Well, it allows us, as a choice, when we feel like we had a choice, it allows us to offer a year-round opportunity for our employees. It's optimum for, like we like to say, nobody has a seasonal life or a part-time life. Everybody has a full-time life. And if you're going to work and have an employment opportunity, you need to have a year-round employment opportunity. So for us, instead of managing people's lives, which is what you do if you follow the textbooks on this subject, basically you should not be manufacturing, you should be manufacturing based on demand. When the product is in demand, you make it. When it's not in demand, you stop. But we made the choice to operate steadily on a year-round basis because which is optimum for people. And I want to say again, we're not being critical of those who use seasonal or temporary workers. That's not what we're saying. It's just our choice, and we felt we had the opportunity to do it. So, praise the Lord, we have an average length of employment in our company right now, 160 people, about 11 years of employment, and that's this. Understand, that's the U in opportunity. Understand that the primary objective of a business is to produce multiplied opportunities. Multiplying money is further down the list and is more of a means to the primary objective. We think that that's, when somebody asks you why you're in business, why do you go through what you go through to be in this business? If the best answer is, well, I'm just trying to multiply money, that's not I think that's already been said here, that's not a very satisfying answer. At least for me, it doesn't work. If you just want to multiply money, just go invest it somewhere and let somebody else do the multiplication. But multiplied opportunities, to us, that's exciting. And in the manufacturing business, it gets really exciting. Just think about our 160 employees, but there's every day in Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, are states where workers are employed making the component parts that we buy and bring in and to assemble into our product. Then we have our factory employees, but there's some truck drivers that have jobs bringing the stuff to us and taking away the finished product. There's some people that supply welding gases to us that we've met, the General Air people, that there's some jobs there. The people that we sell to are our distributors. There's 46 of them worldwide. 1,200 dealers sell and service our product. And then about 2/3 of the product is used by professional mowing companies that create livelihood by taking a lawnmower like ours and putting it to work, taking care of properties. And a lot of those are small family-type businesses that do this kind of work. Look at or ask this question: if this company didn't exist, how many people would lose at least part of their opportunity that they have right now? And that gets exciting to me anyway. That's multiplication. I believe Jesus showed us when he fed 5,000 people with one little boy's lunch, showed us how God's kingdom works, and that is how God chooses to meet needs. People need to eat. People need opportunity. Some of that can be created when we give our little lunch to the Lord and let him multiply it. The Lord's Sabbath day will be honored by resting from our work. Some people have thought that we were Seventh-day Adventists, and that's not true. We're not of that persuasion, and I'm not critical of that persuasion either. The point is that there should be one day, the principle is one day a week that we stop our work and honor the Lord. That's, I believe, the principle. And for us, how do we live that out? Well, as a promoting company, we've had opportunities to go to trade shows. And wouldn't you know, some of those trade shows are held on Sunday. And for us, in our tradition, we felt like it wasn't right for us to be at work promoting our product on Sunday, on our Sabbath day. So, across the years, whenever we had that opportunity or when that would happen, we went to the show management people and said, look, we're happy to come to your show, but on Sunday we don't want to work in our booth. We want to just put a sign up and just not be there. And so sometimes we've gone some pretty good distances and set up shows and worked, maybe it's a 3-day show, and we worked 2 days and took the other day off and worshiped and honored the Lord. I've always believed that all the people that we were supposed to meet at those trade shows, we got to meet them in 2 days instead of in 3, and it helped us. Yeah. Here's one that's pretty self-explanatory. It's the A on abounds. Always love people and use money. That's the right priority, as Scripture teaches. And loving people, we've already heard talk about how we ought to be showing that love in the workplace and by our actions. The N in abounds. Never ignore a request. All requests or inquiries deserve the dignity of a reply. Do not screen or selectively not respond. You may miss the one opportunity you need if you screen. This, I think, is a big deal especially in these days and times with automated voice answering machines, emails that come in. We've always believed that when somebody asks to speak with you or asks to be in contact with you, that's an opportunity. And the minute that you say, I don't have time to talk to that person, or I don't want to talk to that person because I know what they want and I don't want to talk to them, when you begin to do that, you're beginning to screen out people that you do want to talk to. And you don't know what lays in a contact like that, what opportunity there really is. So we have a real live person that answers the phone. I do have a voice message on all of us have voice messaging, but when you first call, as someone has said, I guess that was Phyllis said, that the chief impression officer or something like that was a great line. We have a wonderful lady that has a smile in her voice that greets people when they call and directs the calls. And sometimes it does go to voicemail, but it's only after that person says, yes, I want to go to voicemail. We're talking about how we want to. Some people don't have that opportunity to have that real live person answer the phone anymore. It's changed. But if you have a choice, we think the respect and human dignity that goes with this is an important principle that comes in the way we choose to handle ourselves. I'll be around here a little bit afterward. If there's one of these you'd like to talk about, or I'll be happy to talk with you. But thank you for your kind attention.